Most people stay underpaid for one reason. Not because they're underqualified, not because of a bad economy, and definitely not because their boss can't afford it, but because they never ask. They hesitate, they second guess themselves, and they think now is not the right time. I've been working as a financial consultant for a long time now, and I can tell you that the difference between what they earn and what they could earn is just one uncomfortable conversation. The way to get a pay raise faster than anyone else is not to wait, it's not to overthink, just ask. But let's start there. Let's start by busting a myth. Most people who ask for a pay raise actually do get one. Not the lucky few, not just the overachievers, and not the loudest in the room. Most. A 2022 pay scale survey found that 70% of employees who ask for a pay raise receive at least some increase. Let that sink in for a second. Most people think it's the opposite. They assume asking is a risk, that the answer will be no, that it's pushy, selfish, or poorly timed. But that's all a myth. It's just a myth that keeps people stuck. The data says what fear won't, that the odds are in your favor. You just have to step forward and ask. It's not about shouting louder. It's not about demanding more. And it's definitely not about proving your worth endlessly. It's about stepping forward and having a conversation. The opportunity is really there, and 7 out of 10 of people who reach for it get it. So why don't people just ask? LinkedIn has it that 60% of people or employees have never asked for a pay raise. The truth is that the fear of rejection is stronger than the risk of asking. What we imagine about rejection often is scarier than what actually happens. So what stops us then is not rejection itself, but it's actually the story we tell ourselves about it. It's like that barking dog with no bite. Loud, but when you walk past, it's harmless. Fear feels much bigger than it is, and when you step forward, it shrinks. People all the time, people overestimate the downside of asking, but they completely underestimate the upside of asking. They underestimate how much employers are open to the conversation. They imagine tension, regression, looking ungrateful. But the truth is that most employers are open to conversations more than you think. When done right, asking doesn't hurt your image, it strengthens it. It demonstrates confidence, clarity, and initiative. The real danger isn't hearing no, it's selling yourself short by being silent, not getting paid what you deserve. Telling yourself whatever it is you need to tell yourself in order to get yourself to ask is the single biggest impact you can have on your income. Most people simply won't just do it, and the studies show this all the time. They stay stuck in some psychological loop where the delay leads to frustration and anger and lack of confidence, which just leads to more delay. They procrastinate, they put it off, and in the end, they stay in the same position. But literally anyone can break free from that vicious cycle by simply taking action, by simply just asking. Let me just tell you this quick story. About a year ago, I was having lunch with a friend, and she was absolutely fuming. She'd been climbing the corporate ladder for years, and she still felt underappreciated and underpaid. So I asked her, how do these pay raise conversations normally go? And she looked at me and said, I've never asked. I couldn't believe it. Years of working in the same company, never asked, not even once. We talked a little bit more, went on with our lunch, and honestly, I didn't hear about it until very recently. She sent me a text and told me she got a 35% raise, a massive raise. But actually, it wasn't the size of the raise that stuck with me, it was what she said in the text when she told me about it. She said it took her almost 1 year since our conversation to build up the courage to ask, but now that she had asked, she looks back and thinks, actually, it was quite simple, it was quite easy, it wasn't such a big deal. She said the hardest part wasn't actually asking, it was finding the guts to ask in the first place. Look, whether we like it or not, businesses prioritize profit, not fairness. Those who tend to get pay raises are the ones who advocate for themselves. It's not that you're getting punished for staying quiet, but you're definitely not getting rewarded for it. Because my friend hadn't asked before, she just blended in with everyone else. She just became another number. The company was given no reason to reassess her value, and if she hadn't prompted them to do so, it would have probably continued the same way. It's not that they didn't value her, it's just they didn't give her a reason to show it. When I think about these LinkedIn stats, it hammers at home. 60% of people, 60% of employees have never once asked for a pay raise. It's tragic. And look, if it's not done now, it only gets harder. Inaction compounds just as much as action. If you ask, your raise compounds. All future raises, all savings, all investments in the future, all compound from this new higher base. A $5,000 raise today could be worth tens of thousands over your career through compounding. But if you don't ask, if you wait, that compounds too. So all future raises, all savings, all investments now will be on this lower baseline. The cost of staying silent adds up. It's like missing the on-ramp to the highway. You stay longer in the slow lane than you really need to be. Raises build on your current salary, so the longer you wait, the more you lose. But also, when you don't ask, you don't advocate for yourself, and employers start to think you're just fine the way you are. They can't read your mind, so if you don't speak up, they just assume everything's okay. And over time, it just becomes harder and harder to suddenly shift that perception of yourself and make a compelling case. Once you're seen a certain way, it always takes more effort to change people's mind. It's not that it becomes impossible, it's still possible, but it does become much harder. The longer you spend being someone who doesn't ask for a pay raise, the more resistant there is for people to see you as someone who does. else. And the truth is, the more you delay, the more doubt creeps in. What if I'm actually not worth it? What if I come off as pushy or ungrateful? What if this hurts my reputation? What if they say no? All these thoughts don't happen at the same time, but over time they pile up and they make that ask feel so much bigger than it really is. Every time you hesitate, you just make it harder to take that next step. So yeah, probably the best time to ask for a raise was a couple of years ago, but the next best time is now. Sooner is better than later, and now is so much better than never. If you regret not asking 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, then use it as fuel so that in 2, 3, or 4 years from now, you're not in the same position. Like I said earlier, telling yourself whatever it is that you need to tell yourself in order to get yourself to ask is the single biggest impact you can have on your income. All that matters is that you ask.